let's get into those defensive linemen. That's how we always start every week. That's how we're going to start week 12. Let's take a look. And also, there's a good point to say as well. If anybody is watching live, if you're doing that or watching after, obviously you'll be listening. If you're watching live, be sure to drop questions in the chat. We're going to be answering those, obviously, as we do every week throughout the stream and helping you guys out with the decisions you actually need to make, as opposed to we're giving you the names. But if you got a decision, we're happy to help you guys out as always. Be sure to check out IDP Guys on YouTube, Twitter. We're doing an amazing giveaway right now with the Kobe Dean jersey, as well as some subscriptions to the IDP Guys if you don't have that already. So the link for that we'll definitely be putting in the YouTube description. It's not there right now, but it will be after the show. So be sure to check back for that. Or if you're watching afterwards, it's already there. So let's get into those defensive linemen. Given let's just jump right into it. Last week, brought up Lorenzo Carter as one of my favorite streamers last week. He had a nice game, 5 tackles, a sack, TFL, QB hit, all the good things for Atlanta. Josh Sweat was the other name we brought up. He only had 3 tackles, 2 solos, so pretty underwhelming day for, I think, the Eagles as a whole, to be honest. And, we were hoping for a little bit more against a banged-up Colts offensive line. But given how often they're running the ball, it might be time to view the Colts a little bit differently under Jeff Saturday. All of a sudden, it's much harder to get sacks when they're dropping back to pass 20 times a game max. So that is something I think we should probably start adjusting throughout past weeks where, for week 1 through 8, we were saying lining up anybody against the Colts, and it was working. So we also threw out Peyton Turner, who this is disappointing. He had to tackle for a loss, a QB hit on just 13 sacks, and then he left the game with an ankle sprain. I really think he was on the way to a bigger day. So just unfortunate that he got hurt mid-game. But let's just get right into this week's. Do you want to kick us off? I just did a lot of rattling off. We got 3 gorgeous names to be bringing up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think we actually brought this one up probably a number of weeks back. But let's talk about Dorrance Armstrong, defensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys, correct?
Yes, sir.
He's got a top 6 matchup coming up against the Giants, a team that's been very successful in their offense, and they're able to they're running the ball a lot with Saquon, and even Daniel Jones is really making things work out there. So I think this could be a favorable matchup to get a lot of production as far as IDP goes. Again, he's already on a career high. He's already reached a career high in sacks with 7 to this point. Last time he played the Giants, he had a tackle for a loss. He even got back to the quarterback for a sack, had a block kick, and just a single tackle that game. And he's got pretty well a low tackle floor, but lately he's just been able to get back there and get his hands on the quarterback, whether that just be making tackles for a loss, QB hits, sacks. He's just one of those guys that's going to be able to take advantage of a favorable matchup like this. And when you got an offense that's operating efficiently, it just lends well to IDP production.
It's always fun on these matchups, right? I mean, there's just a lovely history between the Giants and the Cowboys, and also they've done it before. We've seen Armstrong succeed in this exact situation already. So I kind of like just following up and doing what we already know to be true.
Yeah.
Why overthink it? Let's just ride the hot hand. I'll throw out another name here. And speaking of hot hands, would be Baron Browning of the Denver Broncos. So somebody that was tearing it up for the middle of the season, and then he got hurt. He missed some time, and just like it happens too often in IDP, we forgot. We let that go. And I think this is the week where he comes back and does exactly what he was doing early in the season when he was dominating everything. So, he had 4 tackles in a TFL in his first game back from injury this past week, which I think is going to be close to his floor this coming week against the Panthers, who allowed 2.4 sacks a game on average. They allowed 4 last week, which, I'm going to give some credit to, not credit, but some credit to that being Baker Mayfield starting. If Baker is continuing to start, we're going to expect poor QB play, holding the ball maybe a step long. And I think there's a very good chance that Baron Browning gets home. And it's important to say that I think he's going to have a good enough game. I think you could start him as a linebacker, but he's definitely someone I'm looking to start more in defensive end leagues if he has that eligibility. He has that eligibility in MFL. He doesn't have it on Yahoo. So definitely check your settings for that to make sure which is which if you have the option. definitely a defensive end. But Baron Browning is someone I really like as a talent, and I really like the matchup he's got this week.
Yeah.
Oh, I promised also, I apologize. I promised someone last week that I would be putting up banners for the names of these people, and I will start doing that now. I apologize.
Hey, it's all good. You pretty well hit the nail on the head there with Baron Browning. Those Denver linebackers just seem to be, or well, he's kind of a combination, if I'm not mistaken. So, as you alluded to, so that middle of that Denver defense seems to be gaining a lot of production, whether talent is there or not. They seem to be just getting hammered with all kinds of plays and opportunities. So definitely a good pick. Our last one here we're going to talk about is Carl Granderson. He's hasn't been super stellar this year, but he's been flashing kind of here and there. He's got snaps this last week with Cam Jordan and Davenport out, and he thrived. I would imagine, we could kind of expect some sort of similar production moving forward should Cam Jordan and Davenport continue to miss extended time. This last week, for example, he did get 7 tackles and also nagged a sack and a half in this game. Michael wrote down here that Cam Jordan should be back, but Peyton, Turner, and Davenport should miss at least another week. So I think that means Carl Granderson is going to see more playing time for at least another week. So he definitely could be somebody that could be worth streaming at least for this week.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the crux of it is I expect Cam Jordan to be back because Cam Jordan has missed one game in his stellar 12-year career, and that was this past week. And he has already said that he is itching to be back in the field, and I expect Cam Jordan to find his way back in the field as the Saints try to somehow get themselves in this playoff run here in this weak NFC this year. So I do expect him to be there, but Peyton Turner being out most likely at least a week, as well as Marcus Davenport probably going to miss some time. It opens up snaps for Carl Granderson. He's been very productive. He just hasn't had the snaps for me to feel confident about it. I think he'll finally get that this week. I'll throw out a couple honorable mentions here with Mario Edwards and Greg Gaines. Mario Edwards being the defensive end / tackle for the Tennessee Titans. He's been filling in great for Bud Dupree and company. And he's just been really good, honestly. And the reason he's not one of the 3 is because I don't know if the snaps are going to maintain throughout the rest of the season as people come back healthy. But he has been on a hot hand. I'm also going to throw out Greg Gaines again of the Rams, defensive tackle of the Rams. He had a season high in snaps this past week, played great, got a lot of tackles. Didn't bring him up because he faces the Chiefs this next week. The Chiefs don't run the ball enough for me to feel good about a defensive tackle play, but still someone that I want on the radar for future weeks. We could be bringing him up next week. I just want to put him on the radar, Axton. Just put him on the radar.